Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of the Conversation Capital. As you can see, hi guys.
Hi.
How does it feel to be in the Spotify studio?
Feels absolutely great. Absolutely great.
Guys, so, this is probably going to be the first episode that we release in the Spotify studio. We've started a residency with Spotify, so we're going to be shooting from here. And I'm excited. I don't know about you guys.
I'm so excited.
Right?
Watching Given walk in today. Firstly, this is Ursula Mariani.
I didn't even say our names.
This is Sibonga Jalo-Botha, and behind the mic, the new Voice of Reason
Voice of Reason point 2. Given Masilela.
So yeah, you were saying we started a cool residency with Spotify.
That's true. Mm-hmm. And it's for the next few months, and we're going to be shooting from here. So we're really excited, just the partnership. And to be selected, actually. We were just like, damn, the Conversation Capital is growing. And it's all because of you guys. So if you haven't subscribed yet, ask yourself, why not? So as you guys know, this is the Get Ready With Me episode. What happens in the Get Ready With Me episode? We go through comments and questions as I get ready and I put on makeup for the rest of the shoot day as we expect other guests. So perhaps let's start.
Reflections.
Yeah, I know why you're looking at me.
And while you guys are thinking, this episode is going to be up on Spotify.
Yes, 3 days prior. So it's going to be up earlier than our usual schedule. So we usually air on YouTube on Friday. So this will be up 3 days earlier. So you can catch this episode 3 days earlier. And thanks for the T's, Bonga. I really appreciate it.
Do you have yours out?
Yes, I have my reflection. So this week I actually wrote it on my WhatsApp that there's this push for gambling, right? And I feel like the advertising is so, I'm not going to say reckless because they must advertise themselves. They're businesses at the end of the day.
Yeah.
However, I feel like as creators, people who hold like conversations such as this, we have a responsibility, or who have platforms. Yes, let me correct that. People who have platforms have a responsibility for responsible advertising. I see a lot of, and I don't want to make it seem like we are better. We never do something like that. We have, everyone has blind spots, but I am so infuriated each time I watch something on YouTube or any other platform, and here's this gambling website banner or app showing on the bottom of my screen. I don't think we realize how bad having gambling on our phones has made it, the addiction-wise. I don't think we realize the easy access we have to these gambling platforms and the addiction, and why this can go unseen for a long time or unchecked is because it's now on your phone. Yeah. You're not walking into a casino. You're not walking into an establishment saying, there are a lot of these establishments as well. I've seen a lot of them, especially in downtown, in any downtown area, right? I've seen a lot of them. However, I feel like we have a responsibility as a country and as people with platforms to firstly start speaking about how bad gambling has become, especially because it's available on these online platforms. Perhaps there was a time where it's always been online. We just never knew. But it's like you're sitting in a taxi, someone is on this platform. You're sitting in at work, someone is on this platform. Yeah. I think we do not realize I'm sure because of how it's on these devices, we don't realize just how rampant gambling addiction is. And I don't think we are responding appropriately. And one of these days on the channel, we'll call an expert to speak about this, or people against gambling to speak about this. I know a few people in my life who've been, Kaya Dlanga speaks about his little brother and how the taking of his own life may have been because of the gambling addiction. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think there is some relation in that. Yeah. That Kaya Dlanga has spoken about his little brother. And that was a few years ago. So I think we're not realizing what's coming, and not what's coming or what's there, in fact, So I'm just thinking about responsible advertising, and just with the platforms or the access that we have as people with these platforms, to be responsible in what we push out there. In the week, I was thinking about how 15-year-olds watch our episodes, 16-year-olds watch our episodes. It's not just, we actually have an impact with these type of platforms.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
As you're speaking, I was taken back to a time where we were auditioning to be the voice of one of these betting, and not for one second did I think of gambling addiction or whatever. I was just like, I need to get this gig, right? Because it was a good paying gig, it was a retainer gig, every voiceover artist's dream.
Yeah.
And so, as you're saying that, like, I'm seeing the many people that are in the system that are just trying to earn a salary.
Absolutely.
Right. So when you speak of the marketing, there's some marketer there who, this is their gig. They're just trying to earn a salary. The bigger picture of, but where does it stop, Bonga? Do you get what I'm saying? Because there's so many things that we could then start really nitpicking
absolutely
at people and say, I mean, there was that scandal with McDonald's Gate. Where now everybody was like, oh, but you're a humanitarian. Why are you advertising McDonald's? We know that, McDonald's supports blah, 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 blah. And it was really like, I don't know, for me, it was like, where does this,
I think,
how do we draw the line?
Yeah, I think something could be similar to, or how we control it. I don't know if it has and could speak to my own biases, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it has a material impact, but have you seen how smoking is not punted? You can't advertise a smoking pack, or you can't have adverts on TV. You can't, So those type of controls, I think you're right. People have agency. They will go out. But I feel, like I said, it may be my own biases and it may be what I'm consuming.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like there's this concerted effort. They're just pushing these gambling places. They are pushing their advertising.
Yeah.
But
which rightfully so. They are business.
What is it for you that you feel needs to be censored? Things that are addictive? Things that are harmful? What is it exactly?
I think that can
because
look different.
It's the harmfulness and the addiction of smoking, right? So is it? I mean, if it was to create,
I think you are right. Addiction, but there can be an array of factors, right? But yeah, I think the harmfulness, the addiction, just looking at the impact it could have on society. I mean, we should have the same things on alcohol, but we don't, But yeah,
social media.
I was about to say, even social media.
Even us, we fall part of that.
If we're gonna really move the needle, we need to, start really saying, guys, what are these things that are? Because I mean, there's so many reports on how social media can have negative impact on your mental health, and what are we doing about it?
Yeah.
It's a rabbit hole. That's my quest. My quest is to say, where do we sort of draw the line? Because it can be a rabbit hole if we keep. And don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away from what you've said.
I hear you, absolutely.
I do feel that it's a big problem, and not just only in our country. It's like sprouting everywhere.
Yes.
And we've seen people enter into like real debt, that they can't get out of, and then they end up taking their lives because they just feel, and so it is an addictive sport. I don't know whether to call it a sport. And perhaps there should be some sort of regulations with regards to how it can be advertised and to what extent. Like you said, we got to a place where smoking can't be advertised. If you want to do it, do it, and the sales are still doing well.
Exactly.
Which is
that's how I was like, is it effective? Is it not? But at least there's some regulation or some clear inclination to not making it a popular thing.
I think it's effective, guys. If you compare to the 80s and 90s, people were smoking. And it wasn't like now when I see someone smoking, I'm always like, what?
Smoking on airplanes.
A cigarette?
Smoking on airplanes.
I get shocked. I'm always like, I can't believe it if I see somebody who's my generation and younger who's smoking, because you expect it to be like an older, it's got this like older people stigma to it. So I guess it does work actually. Hello. Hi. Sorry to disturb the episode, and I promise it's just going to be a few minutes to remind you of our collaboration with Eat Daimani. So the Conversation Capital has partnered with Eat Daimani, and we have limited edition bucket hats. And if you haven't bought one and supported, why not? Make sure you get yours at the Eat Daimani website. So that's eatdaimani.africa. And then you specifically need to go to the Eat Daimani XTCC bucket hats. So that's the collaboration bucket hats. So they've got normal bucket hats on their website, and they've also got the collaboration ones. So make sure you get yourself a bucket hat, and I guess you can continue watching the episode now. Love you guys so much. Thank you for the support.
You're right.
Maybe not immediately, but over time, it starts having that, you know,
It's
when the
something
message,
cool.
it speaks more to the power of advertising more than it does to the power of the restrictions themselves. In the sense that guys, there's no reason why we use wedding rings. Like, there's no logical reason. Let alone the fact that diamonds are not rare, let alone the fact that it's a marketing campaign that led to us believing that they have as much value as they have. Come to the fact that we're Africans. Like, it makes absolutely no sense, right? Advertising is so powerful that it literally breaks into the crevices of a people's culture.
Yes.
Like, you let go of everything you used to use to say, to symbolize, but I've married this person. Advertising told you, no.
Ay,
Use this
mara
instead.
nake bathi inyongo.
No, here's the thing. Remember,
inyongo.
Remember, inyongo was not all of black culture.
Yes.
There were so many
I
things
hear
that
you.
we used to,
Yes.
in many different cultures. The Xhosas have the things that they use.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Ndebeles, the Zulus.
Okay, I hear you.
Exactly. You understand?
Yeah.
There were many different things that we used to. Bonga, you spoke to something that is so much deeper that I've actually had nestling in my heart for the past, I don't know how many years, which is the fact that Google Play Store, including the Apple App Store, they do not make it easy for developers who are trying to create restrictive apps for those apps to be loaded without any friction, right? There are many companies that are developing apps that are trying to help people who are trying to get less onto YouTube, that are trying to watch less pornography, that are trying to be more focused, write a book, focus at work. But those apps are not given the same amount of freedom as any other app that exists in your app store. And I think for me, I've been thinking about this for many years. It's one of the things that actually interested me into the IT space, into the IT world. Like, it is, in fact, like, it is becoming so ridiculous the degree to which a young kid can access pornography. Like, guys, on X, you can literally just go there and Google something silly, like something that is not related to pornography, and pornography will pop up, right? It has made it way, way, way too accessible. And I think for me, I'm hoping there will come a time, because of what you're also bringing up, where these, I'm going to call them restrictive apps, where you can restrict yourself to what, even if you get an account. I mean, there's some apps where you can get an accountability partner. When you try to access something you've blocked, it sends an email to that person, which,
I love that.
Hey, when you can't surveillance.
No, I'm telling you, I love that. My friend has put me on her app as well, has put me on her car driving app. So when she hits a pothole or she drives rough, it sends me an SMS. So I send her messages like, girl, slow down now.
Yeah, well, now
Slow
you're
down.
looking like fool here. Now you're looking like fool.
No, but accountability is the single most, for me, important thing with regards to addiction. You know, to have, I mean, that's what the community around AA is built around, having a sponsor who then becomes your AA and NA, which is Narcotics Anonymous, which is, having a sponsor, somebody that you know, holds you accountable.
Yes.
You say when you had the urge, you speak about it, why, what happened, what were you going through, what, you know, I think single-handedly one of the most important and effective ways to deal with addiction. Yeah.
No, that's a very good point. There's a psychiatrist that I once listened to, who I actually listened to him quite a lot, Dr. K. He speaks a lot about how the psychology of addiction, like, it is which is why I'm referring to the restrictive apps. It'd be actually more effective for you as an individual who is addicted to something, for you to restrict yourself and only do it at a specific time, right? So, for example, if you, especially for the church circle, like, if you come and say you're addicted to pornography, the number one thing that they're going to try to do, for an understandable reason, is to get you off of the porn as quickly as possible. It is not always the most effective way of getting someone off of something that they're addicted to.
I hear you.
There is sometimes sort of, I forgot what they call the process. So it's the difference of jumping into a pool, like just jumping and getting into the cold water, rather than coming in toes first, coming in slowly and letting it adjust to your bodies. The thing about that is it is effective for some people, and those who it is effective for to just jump into the pool will swear by it. Just go cold turkey.
For them.
It's cold turkey, yes. Like those people will just tell everybody, do it that way. That's the most effective way. But our personalities are different.
Yeah.
The way weaning myself off of something might be effective for me, and going cold turkey might be effective for you,
True.
right? And there's so much I want to say around the point that you brought up, Ursh, of, because it is a big conversation right now. I don't know if you guys were following it with people were criticizing the fact that these comedians are going to perform in a country where there's journalists were dying.
War. Yeah.
There's you understand, there's
Yeah.
war, there's women are not free, there's so many things, human rights violations going on around within that country. And it really made me think about the idea to what extent are we accepting the religion of capitalism, right, for one. And then also, which is something I really enjoyed from our conversation with Lazy Makoti, is I loved how she spoke so highly of her brand. Like, she respects her personal brand. Like, you can hear in the way that she speaks that she's thinking of the next 10 years, right? So to what extent...
That also never leaves me, hey?
Yeah.
It never leaves me.
Like, to what extent are you considering your personal brand? Like, what are you not willing to bend to? Because I can understand people who... I don't know about the specific situation that Ursula brought up, but I can understand someone saying to me, given you're a health influencer, it doesn't make sense for you to be promoting McDonald's.
I hear you.
I understand that, because in the long run, people see me, they've associated me with health. And here I am coming with, what does that say to the brand that I'm bringing forth?
Sure.
I love what you're saying, given, because, there was a lady this week, a friend of mine, we were chatting, and she was like, the problem is we're hungry. The problem is we are hungry for 5 rand. And we're not looking at the 100,000 that could wait for us if we withstand, right? We were talking about something completely different. But it's also just stayed with me, like, don't let like temporary hunger lock you into like bad decisions. Allow yourself to stay true to what you're trying to build and what you're trying to do, So yeah, just have like more long-term vision. Like Mukhawu said, my brand is a 100-year brand.
Yes.
Start seeing yourself that way, the legacy that you'll be leaving behind. What is it that you stood for? But it's difficult, guys. It's difficult because I'm probably hungry too.
Yes,
there's so many things that I think if somebody now puts 100K, says, no, talk about 1, 2, 3 on the podcast, you're not going to give. You're going to give, and a part of you feels, hey, this is not really, I don't do it, but, there's a huge chance.
Yeah.
What I think is a loss in that, I think we don't often consider, I think it's the mentality of an investor as opposed to, or compared to, or juxtaposed with the mentality of a person who is selling, a salesperson, basically. A salesperson will have the mentality of, as long as I sell this thing. An investor is a person who understands that I'm playing the long game, right? Which is something Simon Sinek talks about quite a lot. Like, you need to understand what kind of game you're playing, because in your journey towards building your brand, there are brands that will partner with you because you said no. And they'll be willing to pay a premium for you because you've sat down and you've thought about the fact that, okay, who do I want to think of me whenever they need someone to work with? And will those people be willing to pay a premium to have me on their platform, right? As a result of the fact that I said no to all these other people. Basically, point being, saying no creates a value that increases over time. I think, anyways.
Guys, we can't get through to everybody's reflections.
No, we can. I think just reflections, no comments.
No comments.
No.
Yeah, this was a deep one.
Yeah, no comments.
Let me quickly get into mine.
Okay,
but yeah,
just reflection.
I think it's important to be mindful of our vocabulary.
Sorry, can I just say this?
Yeah.
Can you guys please tell us in the comment section if you want a reflections on its own episode, because we're doing this so often that I'm thinking perhaps
I'm scared of saying that. Sometimes we don't have.
Okay, yeah.
So let it be a surprise
I hear what
element.
Ursula is saying, and I think we can actually do it.
Mhm.
We can just do comments as one
on
Get
their
Ready Me
own,
for
and
this
then,
month,
yeah.
and then we move to...
I think the merging them, maybe switch between the
Yes.
merging them is now becoming impossible.
I hear you.
Yeah. We in our reflections we
comments on-
introduce
Yeah.
depth, basically.
Comment on what you prefer.
Yes.
Reflections and comments, or reflections only, comments only, and then
or a combination, and we'll try harder.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with this one, I was reflecting on with everything that's going on in the world right now.
Okay.
And how the conversations are happening. And I was using that to think of how, in general, we have a tendency to speak. So, for example, if I'm going to use country A and country B, if country A is at war with country B, we have a tendency to say A is attacking B, right? And the reason that I'm saying that as an important thing is because we don't say government A is attacking government B. And I'm wondering of the importance of how we use our vocabulary so loosely. What narratives are we creating? Where you end up seeing a person who comes from country B, and now you're associating them with their government. And they have nothing to do with their government, right?
They probably didn't even vote for that government.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
Right?
Which is actually one of the things I'm observing a lot that's happening, particularly in the United States, right? Where I don't understand, and I don't know if you guys will correct me if maybe I haven't observed it in our context, right? But I don't see ever in South Africa where if you prefer a certain party and I prefer a certain party, except for one party. There's this one party.
Okay.
Let's say two.
Okay.
Party where if you're voting for those parties, we already think of you as this kind of person.
True.
But for the majority of them, like if you even though I don't know for sure, but if you have some kind of political view, or you put on a t-shirt, you come here with an ANC or DA or whatever t-shirt, I don't attach a certain belief, or there isn't much polarization in the room.
I hear you.
Just because you walked in with that t-shirt, right? The way that conversations around parties and political opinions are happening, particularly in the United States, because I'm realizing that it's not even a thing that's happening in the West.
But I
necessarily.
think that's the privilege of the multi-party, because we've got a multi-party.
That's a fair point.
So
that's a fair
two
point.
is polarizing.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, because with us, it's like you're EFF, you're VF,
exactly,
or you're in between.
Yes,
you understand?
yes,
and there's it, maybe this might be a bad example, and some party leaders are going to say, hey, tread lightly, right?
Yes,
but it's an example to say we've got so many nuances.
Yeah.
Right? So we've got the little combination, bobosa.
Yes.
Somewhere,
Yeah.
So we've got these, and then you've got the closer to EFF, ANC, so these are the two. But can you imagine if it was only VFF and
I hear you.
and EFF?
Exactly.
That's polarizing.
Very polarizing.
So I feel like that's the system that they have there. They only have
that's
Democrats,
a very fair point.
So it's
they
a
are the most
thing.
prominent, but they do have other running. So they also have independent candidates as well. But they're not.
My understanding is it's a two-party state. So you either have to run through this way or this way, and then you've got this small mini candidate, the independent candidates.
Yes,
I could be wrong.
They do have two states. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
What I'm just adding into the context is that, for example, you can have a Bernie Sanders. Is Bernie Sanders, right? I think his name is someone who is completely different from the other two options.
I
that are
really wouldn't know
available.
much about them.
Yeah, you do have some that have more social views and have not really like democratic or aren't that big on capitalism or the capitalistic movement that is in the West as well. So they do have those, but you're definitely right in that they are nowhere near as prominent, and they don't fall part of the greater conversation like these two do. Basically, yeah.
I wonder, a while ago in South Africa, especially in KZN, it was very polarized between, I think, the IFP.
Oh, that's a good point.
And,
that's a good
the
point.
ANC, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
But you're right. I think for us, it's a lot of the times I've seen it's contextual.
Yes.
So, like, if you're at a protest, if you're at a debate, in those spaces, it will be clear. But you're right. If we're in an office, you're EFF, I'm ANC.
But even in the polarization, though, I can have a braai with you. Sibe sharp.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Even though we know, Guti, I know you believe in this party,
It's
but
not-
we can sit, have a civil conversation and understand, Guti. I know it's almost as though for them, if you believe in party A, this is what you think of everything. I know you. I know what you think of black people. I know what you think of abortion. I know you're not nuanced as a human being. In other words, I must also extend my reflection, which will be my closer here. I must also extend it to other things as well. In the way that we say women are, fill in the blank. Men are, fill in the blanks. Millennials are, right? There is, I believe, a danger in the way that we speak. Coloreds are, black people are, Indians are, whatever you want to put into there, which your statement may be true. And obviously it's a way of trying to speak generally. You're not speaking about every single individual, but I'm wondering to what extent should we accommodate the fact that there are individuals within those groups you're speaking of.
Sure, given that's, that's because now this may be, it really adds great to the nuance to the conversation around being a foreigner in a country. I look at you as an individual that maybe is a consequence of the decisions the government made.
Exactly.
But you stand alone.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. That's great. I hope people get that.
Right. Yeah. Immediate example would be you see some big, bulky, West African looking full beard person.
Yeah.
They could be a neurosurgeon.
Exactly.
Think of it that way.
Exactly.
You know, because they are Nigerian or Ghanaian neurosurgeons.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And your level of exposure sometimes doesn't allow you to see that, but it exists and it's there and it's possible. And meet this person as an individual. You know? Yeah, I hear what you're saying. My reflection?
Yes.
I have many.
One. Unfortunately, imagine me saying
2.
one after we've taken over the conversation so much.
You know, and I've got like
so unfair.
6 minutes on the clock, but okay, fine. So they both have to do with like the content I've been consuming. So I've been watching a lot of Beauty in Black. Judge me. If you want to judge me, you're probably going to judge me. Because it's been going around on social media like, oh my goodness, Beauty in Black. It's one of these Tyler Perry sort of series, but I loved it.
You knew you had to explain it to me, ne?
Yeah. I could see how you just looked away like, what is she talking about now?
Beauty in the Black, is it where there's a powerful family hair salon involved?
Yes, Beauty in Black. And so I must be honest, like the swearing in that series, the ratchetness, it's almost like Tyler Perry said, how can I make the messiest series I've ever made in my life? But it's laughable for me. It's like funny, right?
Yeah.
But I found myself having like these swear words at the tip of my tongue. You know, I found myself, you know,
no, wow. That's you, because I watched Beauty in the Black and I love it. And there's no swear words on the tip of my tongue.
But they swear was in series.
Yes, but I'm saying on
Did you
the tip
binge
of
watch?
yours.
It has the same effect on you.
Yeah,
Really?
I'm saying you're a swearer girl. Ungasfagi.
Okay, can I do my other reflection? Because you ruined this one. I was going to talk about other content you consume, but you clearly ruined this. So I'll move on to my other reflection. I have been reading a book. It's called Secret Lives of Babaseki's Wives. And, oh man, West Africans, amazing authors. They really know how to write, right? But basically, it's this young educated girl who enters into a polygamous marriage. And the choice of the kind of marriage you want to enter into is your own. But it's described in a way that she feels unworthy of a different kind of love, right? She feels unworthy to be somebody's only partner because she was raped and she had an abortion, she just feels soiled. She calls herself soiled. And so when this married man who's got 3 wives then approaches her, she feels, okay, that's really just, I'm scraping the story. You still can go read it. There's been no spoilers. But it really sat with me to say, in everything, not just in love, you get to the value of your self-worth, right? So if you feel worthy up to A, And I see it with, friends that are financially insecure, the way they negotiate when it comes to jobs, and then you enter into a job, you realize the same job that you're doing, somebody else got paid at least 30% more. And it's because your value, the way you see yourself. So you'll only get to the level of what you value. And hear me, I'm not saying people in polygamous marriages don't love themselves.
Yes.
But this was the example that was made in the book. And it sat with me to say, you only get up to what you see yourself worth.
Yeah.
That's the only point you're going to get to in life. And you need to find a way to tap into like a deeper self-worth, self-value, to be able to tap into more for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we can end the episode there.
Yes.
Thank you for
I'm actually holding myself from commenting because I know we have very, very few minutes.
Yes.
But yeah, I like the point that you made, Uguti. You're not saying
Yes.
value in specifically polygamous
Yeah.
marriages, because I know personally individuals who've gotten into certain marriages that weren't polygamous per se, but let me just say they married a specific individual because they felt they didn't deserve anything better than that individual.
Sure.
Right? So this thing of self-worth it really is a big issue. Sometimes you find that the qualification you stop at is because you think you're only that good as that qualification.
Sure.
And you can't go any higher. Some jobs you stay at, some very toxic jobs you stay at because you think there's nothing better for you and there's nothing better that you can bring into the job market that's better than this, right? And they will make you feel that way.
Yeah.
That's why I love the song. I don't know if you guys know, it's Thunder by Imagine Dragons. Oh,
Thunder?
guys, the lyric. Yes.
The thunder? Yeah.
Look, the song is a bit silly, I admit, right?
Yeah.
But the lyrics in that song, right?
Yeah. What does it say?
People, there's a part in the song there. I'm not going to quote the whole thing, but in the second verse, I think, I was at fit in my classes. I was scheming for the masses. I just forgot how the lines go. But there's a specific line where he's quoting what people were saying about him at school. Who do you think you are?
Yes.
Dreaming about being a big star. Love it. They say you're basic. They say you're easy. Right?
I hear it now.
Yes. Like literally the song is about the fact that I left those who thought of me as mediocre. Now they're sitting in the nosebleeds while I am performing on stage and they're clapping for me.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
What a way.
Love that song. Love that song.
What a way to end the show.
Right? Guys, that was today's episode of The Conversation Capital. Please make sure you subscribe. And don't forget, you can also catch us on Spotify. For now, though, goodbye and God.
Right on time.
My arm wasn't getting into it.